Last week I did a resin pour using Loreza's epoxy pastes, and Judy asked if we can use them in floetrol or a pouring medium. So I'm going to now do a small experiment, and I say small because I'll be using an 8x10 canvas and mixing some of the epoxy pastes in with floetrol and some with pouring medium, and just doing a small experiment to see how they mix up, how they pour, and how they dry. I've not done this before with any epoxy pastes because they are designed simply for resin, and really I just hadn't thought of using them with a global, I say global pouring medium because I use the brand global pouring medium, but fundamentally with a designed pouring medium or floetrol. So this will be exciting, and let's get to it. Let's go. Here we are, my pouring friends. We're outside and I'm just about to mix everything up. What I'm going to do is mix up these four colours in about 30 mils of floetrol firstly, and then the same four colours, 30 mils of pouring medium. And then on a small 8x10 canvas, I'm just going to do a ring pour with each of them. So as they dry, we can compare how they go and how they look and what they hold in shimmer and what they hold in depth of pigment. The most interesting component will be how they mix down into the floetrol, because I think they'll be better off in the pouring medium, but that's my prediction. And I've decided to make sure that I use some white. So in regards to this experiment, I'm going to be using the Angel White by Lorez because I want to use all of the same products in the one experiment. I'm a bit sad that I'm using it because look, I'm down to my last little bit. Hey, but the good news is that this Angel White now comes in 80 grams, big 80 grams. So I'm going to be getting that really soon. But that's a whole other story. Let's get on with the mixing. Because we want to have some continuity, and I said that we'll be using 30 mils of each of the pouring medium and the floetrol, I'll firstly pour out the 30 mils, and this is like a 20 mil shot. So I'm kind of do one and a little bit, and then I'll eyeball the rest just so that we've got consistency, so that when we're mixing up we know that we're starting off with the same amount as much as possible. But I'm too lazy to get a measuring cup. In one of my earlier videos, I had someone getting quite upset at me for saying, "What do you mean you're just using global pouring medium? You can't just tell us that." And I think they thought that I was talking about, you know, like a globally accessible pouring medium. But the one that I was talking about was the brand Global. Now, in Australia, if you're not aware, Global has been taken over by Wholecraft. This happened about a month ago, so I'm not going to be using Global pouring medium today. I'll be using Wholecraft pouring medium. And in regards to that being clearer for a name and a brand, I think it'll go a long way. Oh, but look, the colour's still up here, says Global. I mean the bottle. How interesting. Wonder why that is. But anyway, let's keep going. My first glorious colour is the Lucky Green. And, you know, doing this experiment, if it's successful, is going to cover me up for doing a group challenge, which in my pouring group online, which is a St. Patrick's Day challenge like many groups. Isn't it funny how we all think we're unique, but really all humans are the same? I'm using about this much, by the way. Let's see how it goes. All right, it's in, and this is the pouring medium. And it's breaking up into funny little strands to begin with. Can you see that? And I'm thinking it's because the binder that is used to break down the powder pigments and turn the epoxy paste into the paste may be oil-based, and that would make sense to me, because the oil based in with resin will create beautiful, beautiful deep colors. And what I'm inclined to do is now just get the floetrol and try that. And do you know what? I really hate that. I was doing the experiment and I thought the recorder was on, so I was chatting away and it wasn't. Now I need to tell you, this is a nice little dollop of the green, and you can see that it's actually even separating into the blue, and it is not mixing at all into the pouring medium. It's coming out into little lumps. And this is it in floetrol, same deal. It's breaking down into little lumps, and I'm pretty sure that it's because the binder that is used to change the pigment that would get to the resin in a powder form would be oil based. And I know that Susanna makes all of her pastes up by hand and makes her own colors, so whilst, you know, she might get, for example, we're talking about this beautiful green here, what's the name of this one, Lucky Green, which is a St. Patrick's Day green. She'll also add another shade of green or yellow into it to get us a unique vibrancy. So she doesn't just order her pigments in and mix them up. She makes her own colors. Oh, that's beside the point. The point is that she also uses a binder to change the powders into a paste. And I believe that the binder itself is oil-based, because when you use an oil-based binder into resin, and these are designed for resin, it helps the pigments not only keep their beautiful, rich, unique colors, but create effects in the resin. So, what can we gather? The experiment didn't work. No, the Lorez pastes cannot be made into or cannot be used with a pouring medium or floetrol. Now, in saying that, I've actually had some success using A1 pigments in floetrol and global pouring medium by using a water-based binder with the pigment powder and then adding that to pouring medium or floetrol. So perhaps next time I will do an experiment using Lorez powder pigments and using my water-based binder to break down the powder pigments and adding that into floetrol and the pouring medium. But for today, that's what we've learnt. So have a great creative day, and I'm hoping you're enjoying all of your beautiful fluid art and feeling inspired.